Hello everyone, my name is Filipa and I'm an illustrator, and today I'm going to show you how I did my last artwork. It's Jinx from Arcane. Great show, please watch it, it's amazing. But at the same time, I would like to answer some questions that some of you have been posting on my YouTube comments. Not a whole ton of them, but I figured that a couple of them would already make a cool video. Today we will have a less edited video, but filled with love. So please, stay tuned! So one of you has asked 10 days ago, Hecate? I was wondering how it was the process of changing software. I'm currently moving from Krita to Clip Studio and it's just so odd and different. Do you have any tips for this? I think it would be a really cool video. Well, thank you for the idea. I really do appreciate these video ideas. So, the process of changing software. You might have catch this in the other video where I said how I became a full-time illustrator, but I have started with GIMP, and GIMP is really like, it's more similar to Photoshop than anything. It's not really the most perfect to draw in. I mean, it does the job, but it's not really the best one. So when I changed to Clip Studio Paint, and I did that maybe 3 years ago or so, it was, it was really cool to see all of the features, but at the same time, it can be extremely overwhelming. My tip for this would be, and that's exactly what I did. Of course, there's a ton of tutorials online. There's a ton of ways through which you can explore more about the software, see all of the cool things you can do in it. But at least for me, just pick something cool for you to draw, a cool subject, something that you really like, and just start playing with it. It's okay if in the beginning you then decide to sometimes go back to your old software if it's something that you really have to do faster. It's okay if you go back to it a couple of times, but try and use it more and more, and to have some time to figure things out without putting a lot of expectations on it. Just playing with it. Use just those basic tools, pen, paper, and draw, and just play with it, because as you start figuring out and clicking and seeing whichever function there is, slowly you will start learning some tricks, and usually just by accident. This is mainly what I do. Of course, if there's something more specific, like for example, and I did use this in today's illustration with Jinx that I'm doing, there's a part of Clip Studio Paint where you are able to do some animations actually, and it's a really cool part, but in the beginning especially it was really overwhelming, and for those in specific I had to go, and Clip Studio Paint is really good in this. Again, I'm not sponsored by them, but I could be. I wouldn't mind that. But I'm not. But they do have a lot of tutorials that they really help you with every topic you can imagine. In that regard, Clip Studio Paint is definitely amazing. So I'm pretty sure that there are a ton of other tutorials for other softwares online. You just have to go on YouTube and find them, honestly, and have the patience to follow them. But after you do it and you start practicing and really playing with it, you'll see that it starts getting easier and easier. I'm sure that there are people that would prefer to go through a ton of tutorials to learn all of these things you can do in Clip Studio Paint and to figure things out, but that seems very overwhelming. Just go at it at your own pace. I don't know if it's with other softwares too, but for example, again, Clip Studio Paint, please sponsor me. On their Instagram, sometimes they feature some quick tips of ways that you can use their tools in your own artwork, and it's very helpful. So maybe in the software that you are using, try and figure out if there's something like that. It's easy, digestible. Now with Reels and TikToks, it makes everything so much easier in that end. And things start, inspiring you. So just be open to it. Have fun more than anything. And yeah, just explore. I'm 3 years deep in Clip Studio Paint, and I feel that I don't know even a tenth of all the features that it has. It's a very, very complete software, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, let's continue with our questions. Then, very recently, one of you, Susie3352, has asked, what resources do you recommend to learn digital art or figure drawing? I do illustration too, but mostly cute characters, children illustration, also watercolor paintings, usually landscape. But I'm an uni student and never sold any artwork, any works, and not sure if my skills are good enough to meet client expectations. How did you navigate that? So 2 questions here. Very interesting questions, actually. So, about the resources, I mean, while I was growing up, I sometimes would pick up some art drawings like those, those ancient ones of how to draw manga and all of that. Now you can find all of those resources online. So I sometimes just randomly put on different people, especially people that I really enjoyed the style of. I click on their videos to figure out, especially if they have like tutorials about it. I just click on them to see how they draw their characters and what kind of tips they have, because artists have really different ways of seeing the same and of doing the same, tackling the same, subject. Especially for people like me, that I have really zero studies in art, so I learned all by myself. So just by observing and mimicking, literally, especially in the beginning, I literally would just copy stuff, that I would see, like Bugs Bunny and stuff like that. But regardless, so really observing and taking anything from your environment for sure, but for specific resources, I mean, online you'll find anything, and you'll find different programs even with a very clear structure that you can follow, like for example with figure drawing different poses, then anatomy drawing, and going very, very specific in each subject. I'm not the most disciplined in it. Maybe I'm not the best for you to follow in this regard, because I usually just tend to do the stuff that I really love. Now and then I try stuff that I'm not as comfortable with, but it's rare. I would like to do it more sometimes, but if it starts getting too boring, sometimes I don't really do it. But in each and every one of us has their own style, and it's faces. Sometimes you'll feel like doing something, sometimes you'll feel like doing some other things. But people that I really enjoy, the one that always comes to mind as the one that I prefer the most is Marc Brunet. I hope that I said his name right. He has a huge YouTube channel, and he also has an art program which even has, I think it's even a free download on his website, like an art schedule that he would suggest for you to do your practice with. So the information is already out there, you just have to look for it. I really recommend this guy. I really loved his style. I really love the way he explains things. I even bought once one of the earlier videos he had about how to do portraits, I think. Again, just to see his styles, just to see the method you would use in Photoshop, how, the layers, I don't know, just to have a bit of more information on that. And he has a ton of information, really. If you like the style of someone, just really start seeing, and like sometimes on those quick, sometimes on speed drawings, you can start seeing, even if it's very quick, some of the tools people are using, some of the layers, definition, I don't know how to call that. I really have to brush up my English here. You can start seeing how people usually tackle their own stuff. I already had a video saying how usually my process is here on Jinx that you are seeing right now. It was exactly the same. I looked for a pose reference, I looked for the character reference, and then I just start playing with it. And never really having an exact idea of where I'm going, just a very general one. And as I'm drawing, and depending on what I'm being able to portray or not, sometimes I adapt. Because there are some days you can do stuff, there are some days you can't. And it's normal. Just go with it, play with it, and have fun. Actually, a side note for this one with Jinx. I initially was going to participate, and maybe I will still if I'm on time. I initially was going to participate on a challenge. Like, draw this character in your own style. I tried, but I got bored. And since I was bored, I wasn't really satisfied with it. So I stopped pushing and I thought, okay, what's a character I really like? Oh, I really like Jinx. So I just started drawing Jinx. And ta-da, it just came out. So, just kind of to this little side note. If you're stuck, go back to the default. Do something you love. Just have fun with it and play with it. And it's so much easier. But continuing with the questions. I'm a uni student, never sold any works, and not sure if my skills are good enough to meet client expectations. This is a really cool question. You know, actually, also, in university, I would also sell portraits of people. I would do a lot of literal portraits, like realistic portraits. Because that was what I was exploring back then, and I was trying to perfect it. And I sold some. The way I used to navigate that, so it's like, before people usually ask you to do stuff. So first tip, please have a little portfolio. And I know I'm really unorganized with that. My portfolio, I never keep track of my portfolio, and you shouldn't do this. Please keep track of all the things you've done all over the years in the same place. Note to self. And before you ask people, or even sometimes you're saying, I really love to draw, and people say, oh, can you show me some work that you have done? And maybe you go to your Instagram and you show some stuff you've done. It's like, oh, that's so cool. Can you draw me? People always say that. Usually also friends, they don't want you to charge anything for it. I learned that the hard way. Charge your friends. Even if it's just a small thing. But expectations. Please don't be too hard on yourself. It's like, you know that your work is improving. You know that 5 years from now you'll look back and you say, oh man, this isn't really that good. But I mean, it was good enough at the time. And people that are watching your portfolio right now, they're watching it and they're liking it. That's exactly what they want. So remove all your expectations. Your tastes don't have to be the same. Your expectations on yourself aren't the same that other people have on you. So if someone is looking at the stuff you do and they like it and they want a drawing for you, just do exactly what you can at that time, and that's perfect enough. Now regarding, for example, the price. I also, since it was very hard also for me even to charge people for my drawings, I would start really small. Like, okay, I will do this for you, but 10 euros or something. That's about, I don't know, $10. And of course, it's very little pay for what you do, but you start getting this experience of how to charge people and how to charge friends. That's even harder, or family. It starts getting you, because people expect to give you something most of the time for your work, even if it's not a ton. I mean, you have people that would give a ton or not. You have all of that. But if in the beginning, you were feeling more insecure, you start to if you charge less, charge something that you feel comfortable with, that you feel reflects your skills. It will always be less than what you deserve. I'm pretty sure of it. And I'm pretty sure most artists have done this. But just also for you to feel like, okay, for this amount of money, I feel I can do a good job. Also, not to put a huge expectation on you, thinking, oh no, I have to be perfect because people are paying me $300 for this. At least this is my own personal experience. And as you start doing this slowly, and you see people's feedback, they see more people ask you for stuff, you start getting more confident on your own artwork, on your own skills. You will start feeling confident enough also to start raising the prices slowly. Of course, there will be a moment where you will get to some people where they say, oh, that's very expensive for what you do, and you're like, okay, it's your opinion. There are people that would gladly pay a lot more for what I do, and just let them go. It's not anything personal about your own skills and your own worth or self-worth. It's just that many times people don't even have an idea of how much work you have to do a drawing or a painting. They have no idea. So it's just releasing your self-worth. Sometimes we attach our own self-worth to the work we are creating. It's not the same. Your skills don't define you. It's just a process, and people can say whatever they want. They can say this is shit, this is amazing. Stay neutral. Of course, I mean, it's always good to hear people saying your drawings are cool, but kind of see that in a bit of more detached way. It's like very professional, because you know, even for yourself, your own perspective for your own work will change with time. So just see it as an expression, a part of your expression that was released and now it's public in a way. And I don't know, I feel that that helps, especially when you are doing more professional work. Of course, clients will sometimes ask you to tweak stuff here and there. It's very natural. Again, doesn't mean anything about your own self-worth and your own skills. Sometimes they will ask you to tweak stuff, to do stuff that it's not, they feel this is not even anatomically correct, or the color palette is all wrong, or whatever. I mean, if they're the client, they're the ones paying, you just do what they're asking you to. At least that's how I usually did. I'm sure, again, there are a lot of different decisions on that. Usually I try to get to a middle ground, but if not, it's just like I just give up. I mean, if you want it like this, here you have it. It's just what it is, you know. And it requires a lot of communication. It requires to learn to, you know, to state your opinions, to be assertive. It requires a ton, but all of that with time. If you start slowly, being a uni student, and with your friends particularly, because they're like, oh, but you're my friend, can't you do this for free? No. If you're my friend, you should be the one giving me the most support. So, if you want me to do a drawing for you, please acknowledge my work, my effort, my time, and give me something for it. Even you can start with like free donations, or I do this in an exchange for a donation. That's also a really good way to start. I will do this drawing for you, and after you receive it, you'll give me what you feel I deserve for it. And sometimes you get more than you expect, and sometimes you get less. But I mean, that will help you navigate stuff. And you know, by practicing, sometimes even getting frustrated by the amount of effort you are doing for something, and receiving only 10 euros or whatever that you ask, you'll see, oh, maybe I do deserve more than this. Maybe next time I'll ask for 20. And naturally it starts progressing. No need to be too tough on yourself, to push yourself too hard, because things just naturally evolve. At least that's what happened for me, and there comes a lot of character development with that. It's amazing. So please keep at it, don't give up, and it's actually pretty fun. So thank you for asking. So this is how Jinx turned out this time. I did a really small animation on this one. Maybe someday I can do a video about this more detailed if you want to. Not that I know a ton of it, but I will probably start doing these more often because it's really fun. I do love animating too, although I don't do it that frequently. So I do hope that you appreciate how Jinx turned out to be. Please watch Arcane, it's really cool. I do appreciate so much that you are asking all of this, that you are interacting. It's so fun to do this YouTube channel and to share this stuff with you. So thank you so much for being there. Please like, subscribe, whatever, comment, just for the algorithm. I would truly appreciate it. It helps me so much more than you can imagine. But just being here and watching the video is already a big, huge help, so I do truly appreciate that personally, and thank you for being here. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye everyone. Bye.